Hello, dear students. I'm glad to meet you at our course again. Today we are going to talk about outstanding Russian engineer Vladimir Grigorьevich Shukhov. Let's start. Shukhov Vladimir Grigorьevich was a brilliant structural engineer who lived and worked in Russia in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. He brought innovations to the oil industry and the construction of numerous bridges and buildings. He was the inventor of a new family of doubly curved structural forms. These forms are known today as hyperboloids of revolution and are based on non-Euclidean hyperbolic geometry. Shukhov developed many varieties of lightweight hyperboloid towers and roof systems, also the mathematics for their analysis. In his inventions, Shukhov interpreted buildings as space shells. His contemporaries appreciated his developments of a purely practical nature. The lightweight, innovative structures were rather simple to assemble, were cost-effective material-wise, and were capable of spanning considerable amounts of floor space. Shukhov is often referred to as the Russian Edison for the sheer quantity and quality of his pioneering works. He was one of the first to develop practical calculations of stresses and deformations of beams, shells, and membranes on elastic foundations. These theoretical results allowed him to design the first Russian oil tanker, new types of oil tanker barges, and new types of oil reservoirs. The same principle of the shell on an elastic foundation allowed us to theoretically calculate the optimal diameter, wall thickness, and fluid speed for the fluid pipelines. In 1880, Shukhov was the first to fulfill industrial flaring of liquid fuel using his own invention, an oil burner, which allowed efficient burning of fuel oil, which had been thought as a waste form of oil refining. A young engineer made calculations and headed the construction of the first Russian pipeline from Balkan oil field to Baku. In 1891, Shukhov developed and got a patent for an industrial refining unit with oil fractions decomposition under high temperature and pressure, cracking. His patents on cracking were used to invalidate Standard Oil's patents on oil refineries. Shukhov is the creator of Russian oil-carrying fleet. Their drawings were based on his design. 50 130 meters long steel barges were assembled in Saratov and Tsaritsyn. 82 barges were constructed before 1917. His steam boils and tanks for multi-purpose using functioned in Russia. Shukhov and his colleagues Knorr and Lemke invented a unique calculation method for water piping. Having tested the water supply system in Moscow, Berry's firm constructed water lines in Tambov, Kharkov, Voronezh, and other Russian towns. Among the works of Shukhov, the Shukhov Tower, the radio tower in Shabalovka Street in Moscow, built according to his project and under his guidance, has got the most fame. This tower is acknowledged as one of the most beautiful and prominent achievements of engineering thought, the masterpiece of engineering art. Shukhov was the first in the world to invent and use in construction the lattice metal shells in the form of hanging and arch-shaped overhead covers and hyperboloid towers. It is interesting to know that in 1919, when given the order of the Council of National Commissioners, Vladimir Grigorьevich originally offered the design of the radio tower consisting of 9 sections, 350 meters high. The tower was higher than Eiffel Tower, 305 meters high, However, it was 3 times lighter in weight. Sharp deficiency of metal did not allow the original design come into reality. The existing tower, made of 6 hyperboloid structures, 152 meters high, was built with a unique telescopic method assembly, invented by Shukhov, without scaffolding and lifting cranes. The upper sections were assembled inside the lower one by turns and with the help of pulleys and winches were lifted onto each other. The tower sections are single-cavity hyperboloids of revolution made of straight beams, which ends rest against circular foundations. The lower section is mounted onto the concrete foundation with a diameter of 40 meters and a depth of 3 meters. Thanks to its lattice structure, the steel shell of Shukhov Tower in Shabalovka experiences minimum wind load, which is the main hazard for high-rising buildings. For the 1896 All-Russia Industrial and Art Exhibition in Nizhny Novgorod, Shukhov built 8 gigantic pavilions with hanging and arch-shaped lattice overhead covers of the total area of 25,070 square meters and the steel lattice 25-meter tower, which became the first hyperboloid structure in the world. About 200 originally designed towers were built by Shukhov's design in this country and abroad. Thank you for your attention, dear students. Next time we are going to continue to talk about outstanding Russian engineer Vladimir Grigorovich Shukhov. See you next time. Goodbye.